I haven't updated you in a couple weeks, a few weeks. What is it? It's Tuesday, August, I don't know, 17th, 18th, something like that. This is my project for the day. It's my day off. You can see I tore the smoker apart. I took the whole firebox off of it because it's all rusty, and I'm gonna put a wire wheel to it, knock all the rust off, and paint it with high temp paint or extreme temp paint, whatever that Rust-Oleum is called. The garden's in real good shape. I already harvested all of the poblano peppers. We had dinner with that the other night, made some sort of cheesy casserole thing that I thought was really good. This ghost plant had red stuff hanging all over it, both of them did, and I've harvested most of that, but they're growing, I don't know what, there's 50 peppers here, and who knows, not as many here, but there's going to be another big harvest before too long. My little habaneros. This one's looking like a pumpkin. Just starting to ripen. I got 3-4 plants worth of these things. They're all kind of looking like this right now. There's the 3 banana pepper plants from up above. We really need to weed out the the onions and that part of the garden, but regardless, there's another 100 banana peppers there, and I've already picked about 150 of them. They don't stop. That's a good tune. Put on my walking shoes. Hey, take it easy. Trigger. Like I said, the banana, what can I say about the banana peppers? I mean, look at this. I've picked over easily 100 peppers off of this. I've given some away, and they just keep coming. This right here is the absolute biggest habanero plant I've got. I know it doesn't look like much is going on until you do this. I hope you can see that. I ain't never seen so many habanero peppers. They're all under the canopy. This one, if Steven happens to be around, tell him this is basically the brother of the plant that I gave him. And I mean, it's the slowest mover, but it was so small when I got him. But there's 15-20 peppers on it too. What else we got going on? Look at San Marzanos getting so heavy, they're breaking over the... Oh, geez. I need to tie that up. That's literally broken in half. Well, it's heavy. It's so full of tomatoes. Damn, that must have broke overnight. Should have got bigger cages. The jalapenos, I got a freezer full of these things now, and I still got 100 peppers here. Easy. Probably more. They're not fully mature yet, but there's some that I could pick here. This whole raised bed has just been fantastic. I'm gonna change it up next year. We're thinking about doing some green beans next year, possibly. Hell, I don't know. I might get rid of all this jalapeno stuff and just grow ghost peppers in here, because that's my new favorite. Oh yeah, I was telling you about the firebox from the smoker. Never a dull moment. Look how rusty this thing is. Yeah, I'm gonna take a wire wheel to that. As soon as it dries up, I had to rinse it out real good. That thing weighs 100 pounds. That was not easy to get off of the smoker, and it won't be any easier to put it back on. Here's our one potted San Marzano. It's actually doing okay. It doesn't look sickly, but I mean, it's got over a dozen tomatoes on it, so whatever. This plant is supposed to be habaneros, but I'm not sold on that fact yet because all the peppers are shaped like UFOs. There's one ripe one, and that one ripe one does look like a habanero, so maybe it really is. But then you look at this one, this looks like a totally different kind of pepper, and most of them have that like UFO look to them. But that's pretty cool. That's ripening. Yeah, see what I mean about that rusty firebox? That thing looks terrible. It'll be better by the end of the day. Probably gonna take me all day. I started at about 7:30 this morning. For a change of pace, I'll go to the side garden for the last part of this. Our cucumbers, chill out. Cucumbers are beat. We had way too many of them. This is actually 2 plants in one spot. Did really good here with the fences and stuff. Didn't like take over the whole world. But yeah, it's done now. It's drying up. Oldest San Marzano plant we've got. It's got some good looking stuff going on in there. Still healthy. Red bells. Finally getting red bells to make hot sauce with. Real happy. Real happy with that. That's red bell, red bell. And look at the size of that red bell. I don't know if I've ever seen a pepper that big. This plant is giving off tons of tomatoes, and they're ripening, and they're all rotting. I think it's diseased or something. I don't know that we've eaten one tomato off this plant yet. It's just every one of them just rots before it's ripe. So I don't, the hell with it. Should just rip it out of there. That's orange bell peppers. That's starting to turn on nicely. This Roma tomato hasn't given us one ripe tomato yet, but it looks like the healthiest one. It's the tallest out of the Romas. And yeah, they're just not ripening, but look, some of them have like this weird bell shape to them. Real nice. I hope those turn out. Those are more red bell peppers back there. They kind of got overtaken by tomato plants, though. They're big peppers, but they don't really get as much sun now. I've done everything I can to keep the tomatoes away from them, but it's not working out too well. And another Roma plant. This plant, good. It's just all over the place. I have 3 stakes in this. I have rebar, a small wood stake, and a really big hardwood stake trying to just hold this SOB up. It's giving us tomatoes, but it's ugly as hell. And this is just a small jalapeno plant. They're not the like gigantes that... Man, look at all these. I'm basically just letting these things go, trying to let them over ripen so that I can have some red jalapenos to mix in the canning jars, because well, they taste good and it makes it look pretty. I only got 1 red jalapeno last year out of like 50, 60 jalapeno peppers. So this plant is basically a throwaway for me. It cost me like 50 cents, and I'm just letting them go. Just over ripen or rot. I want them red. So there you have it. But I tell you what, compared to what this looked like for the last couple of years, this was a big improvement. I might just load this up with green beans next year. That's kind of where I'm thinking. And I'm going to build up the bed and have a little more soil in there, put up some blocks or something instead of those wood. So there you go.